Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be assembling and reviewing the Jasper Board Game table made by formerly boardgamestables.com, but now they're called Allplay. They're basically one of a few companies that made like really cool like modular board game tables, the other being Wormwood, and there was also a few others, but we decided to go with this one because it fit our little small dining room space, which is just like kind of this right here. And we have an Ikea Kallax classic. If you play board games, this is essential. All right, in regards to shipping time, and one of the reasons why we chose Jasper Allplay over like other board game companies like Wormwood is because one, Wormwood was still in a Kickstarter. That means our table probably wouldn't come for 6 months or probably longer. The Jasper, on the other hand, shipped right away. We got shipping info in like 1 or 2 days. It did take about a week to ship. Now, this is just the table legs, base, and the mat. The topper, which we also ordered, comes later on, as well as some of the accessories that we ordered. They do send an email saying like, oh, there's a chance that half of your order will come on this date and the other half will come later. And they actually say in the email, don't trust the UPS delivery date because they don't know, because everything is kind of like made to order. So just in case if you're waiting for your Jasper table, just know it might come somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks and multiple boxes too. All right, Sarah and we're gonna start building the table. So let's get to it. All right, let's start. All right, so as you can see, first box, we got the dark walnut color. So this is the legs, and then I believe this is the table base underneath. All right, and then for the second box, this is the long box with probably all the table sides right there. We also got a little bag with hardware in it. All right, so some people report that there was no instructions with the Jasper table, and to our knowledge, at least at the time of this recording, we don't see any. But they did send an email that links to a Dropbox with a PDF that tells you how to build both the regular table, which is ours, and also the long table. So be sure to check your email. All right, and as for tools, it just says you need a Phillips screwdriver and an Allen hex wrench. All right, so we laid out all the pieces in front of us. You can see all the legs, the sides, the baseboards, some nails, all separated, and this is the side railings, and then we'll open the mat last. This is probably quicker with 2 people, especially if you have like 2 sets of screwdrivers. It'll probably go by a little bit faster. Oh, highly recommend for this part where you put the little boards at the bottom of the table to get 2 people, but also you probably should want a power drill. Otherwise, you're going to be doing a really tough arm day trying to get these screws in tight. All right, now that we built basically the underside of the whole table and the legs, we're gonna now flip it over. All right, now all we gotta do is screw in, what is this, about 20 screws? And make sure, the board was with the big holes facing upwards, because it's gonna be able to screw in. All right, now we're gonna apply I believe this is a neoprene mat, and we got this in kind of like green color. It reminds you of like mahjong tables in Asia. But yeah, let's roll it. So you'll probably still have some like kind of air bubbles a little bit. Just try to push it in as much as you can, but there's probably like a little break-in period, and just the more you play games, the more you put stuff on it, the more it'll probably flatten over time. All right, and then this is kind of how it looks. This is, I believe, a 42-inch by 66, right? So yeah, that perfectly fits our kind of like short width-wise like dining room area, but then we can still fit our, you know, Ikea Kallax here, and then we can still probably put like 6 chairs. Probably like we'll probably do like a bench and maybe some stools on the side or something. But yeah, this is gonna be our board game setup. So the topper hasn't come yet, but I do think we have some accessories, so we'll try to unbox it, and then I'll fast forward to the topper when it arrives.
Okay, so we have 2 kinds of accessories here. We have the cup holders, which come with like a metal tin, and then you just pop it in. So it actually can be used for like multiple things. And then it has the magnetic here that you can just plop here. And it stays, and it's pretty sturdy.
Yeah, it wiggles a little bit, but like once you have it in this position and like you have a cup here, yeah, it's gonna be hard to pull off, and the magnetic force is like pretty strong to take off.
And then this one is like the accessories holder.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a square tray holder. I mean, other modular board game tables kind of have this, but it's nice to put like, you know, cards, tokens, whatever you want on it. And then yeah, let's see.
And then same thing, you just pop it in. Pretty sturdy. And then
yeah, and obviously the sides too, you know, there's railing on the sides, so you can very easily, you know, have it there and just have one guy sitting there as well. Now I ordered 6 of each cup holders and tray holders, but sadly 2 of them did get damaged, maybe in shipping. As you can see, this one, I don't know if the camera can see it, but there's like a little crack right there next to the magnet. It's kind of big, and then there's also another one kind of like right there as well. And then for one of the tray holders, there's actually a large crack right there by the magnet. So could have been damaged by shipping. Maybe it was just a manufacturing defect, but I'm gonna reach out to Allplay and see if they'll replace it. Even for a little bit of fee, I'll do it. Hello, it's been a while. So we waited 2 weeks. It's been over 2 weeks now, but our topper still hasn't come yet, unfortunately. The email did say I would have a 50% chance of getting the table, which we did in 1 week, and then 50% chance we should get the rest of our order the second week, but we didn't. So I sent an email, and they said that the toppers have been delayed due to, you know, a delay in the wood production. I still haven't gotten the new email yet, but she said hopefully it's soon. However, I did get some replacements for the broken accessories that we have. So I emailed them, and they actually sent us some replacements entirely for free. So really appreciate the customer support that Allplay has. And yeah, these both look pretty good. And I don't want to waste these, so maybe we can like fix them up and also use them again. But yeah, pretty excited for the accessories. Still been a few days, still waiting on news from our topper, but the community manager got in contact with me, said she'll be checking with the woodworkers, hopefully to get it shipped by this week. So yeah, fingers crossed. In the meantime, I actually have all these boxes of board games, and I also have like 2 or 3 more in the garage. So yeah, we're gonna try to fill up this whole space right here in the meantime. Already unpacked a little bit there, but yeah, time to get organizing. All right, and an hour and 2 later, I finally have things organized the way I want it. So kind of like a brief walkthrough. This is gonna be like 8-player games, like kind of big groups. This is all kind of like the Mafia games on this one shelf. These are specifically 2-player games for me and Sarah. We have a bunch of games that are just like tiny boxes. And then I have like kind of like a classic corner with like Jenga, Uno, Yahtzee. And then the next 3 down, they're all like different types of like Asian inspired games. Like this is kind of like the all sushi go, steam up, kind of like the food area. This is for like games. This is a board game that I backed off Kickstarter, Let's Go Japan. And then these are games we actually got in Hong Kong and Taiwan. and then another category of just like, Japan, Asian games. And now we're starting to get into the general, like 4-player to 6-player games. So we have all the classics, some other ones. And then finally, the third row is like, we have 2 rows just for Catan and all the expansions. 1 block just for Azul. I love Azul. This is like all the expansions up to date so far that I could get. And then 2 columns for Ticket to Ride. And then this is kind of where I just started putting games together. But these are some other really fun games that I really enjoy playing. A category just for Dune right now. Maybe I'll get more, who knows. And then some more 4-player-ish games. This is kind of like more mathy number games. These are games I don't really play as frequently. It's more like kind of group games where there's like one person. Now the bottom row is just going to be for games I don't really touch as often. So like kind of like deck builders like Dominion. There's also Clank. I just prefer to play these online. Eldritch Horror, which is a great game. I just rather play on tabletop because there's so many moving parts. And then these games, it's like Pandemic Legacy, Gloomhaven, Feast for Odin, Food Chain. All these are still boxed just because I know these games take a long time to learn. And then we have some games on the corners. These are kind of like all the basic games like Taboo, Pandemic. I have a poker set, Clue. These are probably games I'm not going to touch too much. And then this corner is just for expansions. Like everything in here is just an expansion for another game. So far, honestly, really like it. I might change a few things up here and there, but ultimately this is what I'm going to start with. Maybe I'll move some board games back out. Maybe I'll put it somewhere else, and maybe I'll have some new ones. But yeah, pretty happy with the Ikea Kallax. Definitely can fit my entire collection and more. All right, it's been a few days, and a total of 2 weeks later, the toppers finally came. Comes in these 2 heavy but thick boxes, and it should cover the entirety of the table. So yeah, let's unbox them and get them on. Okay, so we have the toppers unboxed, but the thing is that you need to so they give you this bag with a glue stick. They have dowels, they have some felt for the underside, and then I had to look this up because I wasn't sure, but yet these actually, 2 of these on both sides are the end toppers. You're supposed to screw them on underneath. And that's what kind of keeps the topper in place of the table. So I guess we need to figure out exactly like where to position them. There wasn't really any instructions for this. I literally just had to look up another YouTube video to do this. So yeah, we're just going to do it now. All right, so if you look carefully, it's hard because we picked the dark walnut, but there should be a little hole on all 4 corners. And once you find the hole, that's where you put these little rubber feet and you just kind of screw it in. All right, so we got all the dowels in and the little end caps on the bottom and all that stuff. Let's just put this all together. And a cute little side note, all of the accessories, like the tray and the cup holder, they actually all fit right under it. So pretty good design, and we could just store accessories in the table when not in use. All right, and now we have it all put together. Honestly, I can definitely see why it's like considered a budget table, because it's not as like convenient to like take off the top. If you literally wanted to, take off the topper to play, you kind of have to like lift this up one by one and kind of just like detach the dowels from each other. So it's a little bit more of a manual process than I would like compared to like a competitor table like Wormwood, which might be a little bit easier. But I mean, it does the job. It does look like a regular dining table now, especially in this dark walnut color. In terms of how it actually looks, I mean, you can definitely see the seams, but it kind of blends in with the dark walnut from a distance. But if you actually look closely, even though I put this together and kind of like soft malleted all together, if you look closely, you can somewhat see some of the cracks and the dowels and the contents inside, but it's not too bad. Honestly, you could just put a tablecloth over everything and it'll be as good as you would want. So now the only things left to wait for are, we ordered some benches, we gotta set up some chairs we bought. They're not Allplay or anything, it's just some things we got from Target. And then in terms of accessories, we're still waiting on the table extension, which is something you can just put on the end of a table and it'll extend your table a bit. Probably good for like things like for DMs or for if you need extra game space. And then we also have a table storage box, but we'll see what the table the topper storage solution is like. All right, so we finally got our 2 chairs and we decided on 2 benches for the sides. And this is pretty much our completed Jasper board game table setup for our dining room. So some things to note is, I will say the topper is kind of hard to remove at first because it's just on dowels. And so honestly, it might be easier just to like lift up the whole thing at once. I mean, it's not too bad. Hopefully it gets a little bit easier over time. The mat is really nice and you can hide the accessories in here. So I've hidden some wood accessories and you can even hide a cup accessory in here. So that's really good for storage and when you don't really need them. I have some on the side to show right now. But yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Have some accessories on the side. We have 2 benches, 2 chairs, and then if you come over here, this is our finished kind of like board game Ikea Kallax shelf. It took me a long time to really organize all this, and even though I did a speed through of all of it, for a few days I debated on which cubby should be what. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed us getting our table, building it over this long, I would say almost 3-week process. But yeah, I would say I can't wait to play the games on this table. We're still waiting on a table extension and a topper box, so I'll end the videos with those once they come in. Okay, hello. It has been many months. Basically, we were waiting for the topper box to come in. They said it was ready at the end of summer, but they kept delaying. It's now October, almost November, and we finally got our topper box in. We've been playing on our table for many months now. The table's been good to us for the most part, but here it is. This right here is the topper box that we got. It's the same color as our table. We've got the dark variant. I would say for the most part, it's been pretty good. They didn't come with any instructions at all, so we just had to figure it out on our own. I couldn't find any on their website. I even looked at their Kickstarter. Get one of these in and out, no problem. Has like these little rolling things in here. Hopefully you can see it. There's one extra slot. We don't know what it's for. I thought it was for the expansion, but it doesn't fit because the expansion block is a bit too thick. So I guess it's just an extra slot in case. All in all, it's fine. Good for the money. I kind of wish we had this a long time ago, because otherwise we've just been stacking it against the walls. But yeah, that's the final piece that came in. The accessories have held up, I would say. It fits just like that. I will say it does take a while getting used to because some of the accessories, especially on the side, they kind of like droop down a bit. We still trust it. It's just like it's a little bit jarring for some of our guests first time because it is like slanted down a bit. But I mean, they do hold cards and our drinks just fine. I think for the total, everything we got was about 2.5 with the topper box included. Yeah, I would say overall pretty decent. We just had to wait a long time for everything to come in. As for the board games, we've actually expanded quite a bit. Got a lot more new games now. I took some of the old ones out. Wow, sushi game.
Wait, it's so slippery. Come on, Peter.
You got this.
Oh.
His hands are shaky.
Oh. Very nice.
Fortune cards can be paid to benefit or hinder your opponents. Thing with the solid circle remains uncovered. Okay. Oh, is this like a power meter?
Looks like it.
Okay, so that's why we don't have it at 0.
I have a 0, I have a 1.
Oh, you're the lowest one. Yeah. This is so scary.
It's like an
evil. Yeah, it's an evil thing looking over your shoulder as you're reading.
This is kind of like
Oh, no.
yeah. It's like a beanbag.
Wait, did he give? Oh, I didn't get.
No, I think go ahead. I'm thinking.
What's Stone Island?
All right, hey guys. By the time you're watching this, will actually be about almost a year now since we've had this table, and I gotta say, we've been playing a lot of games on it. I think I've shown you a couple of the game clips that I've taken. If not, I'm also gonna flash a lot of pictures on screen right now of a lot of the different types of board games that we've played on this over the years. I host weekly or bi-weekly board game nights sometimes, and this is the amount of stuff that we've played. This board game table's gone through a lot of variety. We've played card games, dice games, games with miniatures, a couple RPG-like games as well, a lot of Mafia, a lot of party games. So it can definitely accommodate a lot of small to medium-sized board games. For the games that have a ton of components, like we're reaching like towards higher end of number of components and stuff, it does start to get a little bit cramped unless you're only playing with like 4 players. In those cases, I would prefer playing on the tops of the table instead, just to give us a little bit more space. But I don't really have a lot of games like that where it's like a huge amount of components to where even a 4-person table feels cramped. But yeah, so far, everything has been pretty good. I will show you guys some updates and stuff. I do want to note one thing. Some of the table definitely has either chipped or been slightly damaged, somewhat due to us, but I do have these on hand just in case I need it. This is furniture repair markers. You might have seen some of these in like local craft stores and Home Depot and Lowe's or whatnot. Just definitely nice to have some of this in hand, just so you can like color match it to the stain of your wood. I also have traditional walnut wood stain too, just in case I need more of a liquid solution. But I just have these on hand just in case I need to ever repair the table. The accessory wise, I do love the cup holder. I have it under here. I usually store it under here now, as you guys can see. The cup holders and as well as the card holders, we've been using them pretty frequently. Storage box, we use this pretty often. It's been fairly good. It works as expected. It's just sometimes when we put the table covers on it, just make sure that the little rubber feet don't get stuck. You might need to put them in the middle. The one thing I regret is buying this external shelf. I feel like I've tried to use this once, felt kind of flimsy. I probably wouldn't put something super heavy on it, but yeah, it's meant to be attached to the end of the table, but I kind of regret buying that because it doesn't even fit inside the storage box, so it's kind of feel like it's kind of taking up space for no reason. So yeah, we've been keeping it fairly clean too. All the accessories fit just as well under here when they're not in use. I've been like kind of using a smaller hand vacuum to kind of like clean up any crumbs or hair or any small pieces from the table. Now I have seen on their Kickstarter, GameFound, whatever page, there are some complaints about the table not being sturdy with the legs. Now, so far hasn't been our experience, but also that's probably because we're on hardwood floors. I think if you're on carpet, maybe the table could feel more wobbly, but so far, like, I'm trying to shake it. And while you hear a couple of creaks now and then, it's not like unstable to the point where we think it'll just fall over. But they are offering free replacements if you own the Jasper table and you bought an older model. I think it just comes with like more screws and stuff to make the leg more secure if you need to. I want to do a quick little update on my board game shelf as well, because there are some changes to it. First off, the bottom shelf, I just kind of put some random things. It's games that we kind of play, may pull out occasionally now. The second to bottom has some of my favorite games, Power Grid, Terraforming Mars, still there. I have some video game adapted board games now. We have Civilization, RuneScape, Slay the Spire. Over there I have Dungeon Cart and a few others. Have some real-time board games here. Love Magic Maze. Do also want to play Great Split at some point. The rest of the shelves have stayed somewhat consistent. Maybe I've added a couple of expansions and stuff. Here's some of the like Asian themed games I have going on. Some Chinese games and then some Japanese games. Some of them I still haven't played yet. And then yeah, these are still the party games that we have on hand. 2-player board games, we've been actually slowly going through some of these. Those are kind of fun. And yeah, and then any extra games, I've actually started putting it in these board game backpacks that I have. And then I want to make one note. There is this game, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice. This is huge. Like, this is way bigger than actually a standard one of these cubbies on the Ikea shelf. So I actually had to put this on top because they just now would not fit. So do note, if you have a super long rectangular board game that's bigger than the size of a standard cube of this Ikea shelf, it will not fit. So a little bit unfortunate. I kind of wish I measured it beforehand, but that's why it's on top. All right, so overall, I think if you're in the market for a board game table that fits exactly this size dimension for your game room or your dining room or kitchen, whatever, you're looking for a multi-purpose table that can be used for dining, that can be used maybe for like working, studying, then I think this is a really good price point. It's still considered a budget board game table. It's not the cheapest, but it's also from a well-known company. If you want to spring for higher quality, I do suggest looking at Wormwood or maybe even like other board game table makers as well. Explore your options. For us, this is pretty much meets what we need, and you know, with all the modular systems, the tops, kind of like the wood staining and everything, it kind of just meets our needs for the price we pay. So we're happy with it and we'll continue to use it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed our board game table review of the Allplay Jasper table. If you like more and you want to see us make more content about like house reviews, products and stuff, or even maybe even some board game content, please like, comment, subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys in the next one.